I think there's an element here as well that we haven't talked about, which is product quality is absolutely paramount and fantastic. But I know AT&T is big on this as well as customer service. Yep. So if in the event that there's going to be a product issue or there's going to be a delivery issue, whatever it might be, certainly at Metpro we like to be proactive in that sense. Why would we wait for you to have to face the issue, take the time and call us, and we can proactively tell you what's going on. You're aware of it, you've got to adjust, but isn't that the right way to do things?
Not everyone does that supply wise,
right?
Not all our supply chain does that. We have one of the guys in the purchasing team, his job is literally every day he's chasing orders that are due and even some that's overdue, to try and be ahead of the game, so we can inform our customers. But because of supply issues over the last few years, it's been very, very difficult.
Yeah, it's not been an easy time.
It's a lot better than it was, but some suppliers will give you a date, and that date will push back, and they'll push back. But what they fail to realise is that contract is maybe on a penalty clause.
Yeah.
And we've had it recently where we've had to change. We said to the contractor, look, these are not going to be here in time for you. What do you want to do? And we've helped them find an alternative brand that they'll be there, and they're happy with that. So it's part of our helping and trust. But that is being a proactive rather than a reactive business. And we try to do that. We can't always get it right.
No.
We've had instances where we've told the contractor everything's going to come on time and it doesn't turn up, and the manufacturer hasn't informed us or has not had that information. So that's, to me, is probably the biggest frustration.
Yeah.
It's about that proactivity. We try to, but we can't always get that from the supply chain to be as proactive as we'd like.
Well, there's so many moving parts, and you can only do so much as long as you're doing everything that you possibly can. I mean, what more can people ask from you? And invariably, I assume you're getting it right.
Yeah.
And it's no different for us, by the way. But I think what you've said there about a lot of suppliers may not operate in that way, in that proactive sense, I find that quite intriguing, because I know there's been a lot of concern over the years, which was compounded with COVID and this rise of online sellers. And that's your biggest differentiator, to be proactive and have that, some technical nous as well. And all of a sudden they might be cheaper and you'll get it tomorrow, but you don't know what you're going to get, and they're not going to help you with it either. Why won't we? For me, it goes back to holding ourselves that higher standard again. But just bringing the conversation back to trust. Do you think that's in short supply throughout the supply chain?
It's a good question. Probably, yeah. In respects that people are a little bit dubious of everything. So it's not that they don't want to trust. I think they find it hard to trust. Yeah. Because they've all been let down. So the contract's been let down, the wholesale's been let down, the manufacturer's been let down across that chain. So we'd like to trust, but I think we find it difficult because it's like we're going to get caught out here somewhere. Yeah. So that's the proactivity part. And again, that's why we're trying to align ourselves with the manufacturers that we trust, that can give us that clarity and have an honest conversation. And if there is a difficulty, I know Larry'd pick the phone up to me and say, Ian, we've got a real problem here. What do we want to do? And he's more than happy to talk to the contractor himself. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm talking about, this tri-party thing. It's all right, I was saying to the contractor, but actually if it comes from the manufacturer, it holds a lot more weight in some respects. Because this is the manufacturer saying, look, it isn't AT&T's fault, this is a supply chain issue. Yeah. So, what can we do to help that? So I don't think it's just about, the trust element isn't just about giving them the right information about delivery times and everything, but it's also about a solution. Trusting you to find a solution if there is a problem. Yeah. So if we can't get your conduit on site for whatever, right, okay, we can't do that. What can we do? Yeah. So that's all part of the trust element of the contractors trust AT&T, like they'll trust all the other wholesalers that they deal with to deliver a solution. So that whole trust element, I think we find it difficult to trust. Yeah. We like to trust, and because we've already been let down, it becomes problematic. But if you can consistently help the contractor, help the wholesaler, that trust becomes a lot stronger. And when there is a problem, and there is no smoke and mirrors about a problem, be honest.
Yeah.
That's when the trust breaks down.
Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody tries to tell you some untruth.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when the problems arise, and you find out. Just be honest.
Yeah.
And we can solve the problem. And I say to internally in the business, whatever it be, whether it be trade accounts, a warehouse, in purchasing, if you don't pick it up at the start, that problem magnifies and becomes bigger. If we be honest and open at the start of the problem, and we can usually fix it. If you try and hide that or don't be honest about
or
that,
double down on the thing,
it becomes bigger. So that's right through the supply chain. So that's also the trust element. I think it's about they trust you to find a solution as well as be honest about what's happening.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Really, really interesting.
It's encouraging. I live in an ideal world, me sometimes, but that's what I try to. You have to have an ethical view. Adrian, who owns our business, that's part of the reason I'm here. Is his ethical view on what we do with the contractor, the customers. That, and it goes right through our supply chain. It's a big thing for me.
I've just got one more question around product quality, which is, how much weight do you or does AT&T give to British standards?
That's key. We don't supply anything that's not British standards.
Excellent.
Nothing. No, I don't think. Certainly, that I can think of, we wouldn't deal with any supplier that doesn't adhere to that. Like I said earlier, I have a lot of emails and a lot of offers, but they just delete it straight away. I don't even read. Once I've read the first line, I don't know what they are. They're deleted. So. And that's joining with regime. That's part of the vetting service, to make sure that they're supplying. So it helps all the members of the group to know that, they are a British standard supply. So without doubt, none of our products is I wouldn't dream of it. I wouldn't sleep at night.
And that's what I was talking about earlier with some of the ambiguity around this stuff, and the fact that you could, if you wanted to, you could answer an email and say, crack on. And that would just. That's what I find incredible, is that would just enter the market and be installed. And then who knows what the hell's going to happen.
Something may never happen, but it's only when something goes wrong that people start to investigate. And that's the unfortunate side of it, is that, I go back to the Grenfell thing, that only got investigated because of the tragedy. Had that not happened, more and more of that...
Well, it would still be a ticking time bomb.
And there would have been more and more installed. So... It's such a tragedy. We have to wait for those tragedies to happen to actually reevaluate British standards and the tightening of those.
Absolutely.
So, I wouldn't even dream of it. And everything we do, all our products are on a system are tighter lookings in one way, shape, or form. And on that, you have a data sheet, and on there's the British standards, and the same with what the EDA are doing with eTIM and eData. All that information is there. So we make sure that we're supplying the British standard products without a doubt. There's no greyness about that. It's very, very black and white.
Excellent. Yeah, same for us. I mean, I know that you are right in that. Unfortunately, disasters sometimes have to happen for us to understand where we've gone wrong. But I think I speak on behalf of Metpro when we'll do everything that we can to prevent any disaster. Hence operating within line with every single British standard that we can.